Here's the full uncut interview I did with Robert. If you watched the show, the first couple minutes here is the same as that. So if you want to fast forward, you can go to this time right here. And then there'll be a little bit from that, but about 15 or so minutes of interviewing that wasn't on the original show. So welcome to our interview today with Robert Morales from Traveling Robert. And definitely want to thank you for joining the show this week. And I thought, what I usually do is I read the about info on your YouTube channel. And so this might be a way for people that aren't familiar with you to know what you're about. It's, it says free in my RV across the top.
Yeah.
And it says we are Robert and is it Ely?
Ely, yep.
Ely, yep. Cuban-born, Floridian by choice, insatiable travelers. We share our RV travel stories, producing inspiring, informative, and entertaining videos, enjoying the journey as much as the destination, sampling the local cuisine, imbibing the local craft ales, visiting the main attractions and off the beaten path destinations, which is definitely what we like on this channel. In 2014, we acquired a small Winnebago travel trailer to explore the United States and beyond. And in 2020, we became Winnebago Micro Mini brand ambassadors. Join us as we explore a beautiful planet. And then on Twitter, in your description, it says video creator, podcaster, musician, which we'll ask definitely about that, and traveling storyteller. It says, and correct me if I'm wrong, it says there's a new video every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. I do a video every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central. So that's a good back-to-back we can do. And then you have a live stream on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. You're up to just some little stats, 263,000 subscribers, which is, to me, mind-boggling. You put up over 1,000 videos and over 86 million views. And the first video I found on your channel was about 13 years ago. So you've definitely been doing this for a while. Anyways, enough of me talking. Does that give a pretty good description of where your channel is?
Yeah, I would say I may have to update some of those descriptions. I haven't done those in a while. But anyway, John, I want to thank you for having me on your show here, and I'm grateful for that.
Also, well, right away you can tell you have a great vibe, and your videos are always fun. They're always positive and light, and I love that. And is that by design, or is that just who you are? Is that something you've tried to do over time with your videos?
My idea with the videos, then the way I produce them, I want to take the audience with me on a road trip. So it's all chronological. When it's good, it's good. If something wrong happens, I say it too. But I just have this great joy for travel. It's my happy place. Just being on the interstate, going somewhere. One of my songs says it's the pavement rolling under the tires. That's kind of my happy place, and the destination is just another part of but the journey is as important as the destination, for sure.
So how did you get started in YouTube?
I will say I will, it's one of the things that I always wanted to do. I even went to college for TV production, so I wanted to do that. I never quite worked in the industry. So at some point when YouTube came out back in 2005, I think my first videos were for my music, which I'm also a musician, as you mentioned in one of the descriptions. And I started uploading videos, and I also wanted to do travel videos. So eventually I opened the second channel for travel. And that's kind of how it started. But it's something that I always wanted to do. It's, to scratch my own itch, my own creative itch more than anything. So... and the rest is history. For many years it was a hobby, and all of a sudden I'm starting putting videos and people start commenting. I'm like, people are actually watching, and this is probably 10 years ago when it started to hit me. YouTube started monetizing, so I got, I'm making $50 a month, yay. And little by little, it started growing, to the point where I saw that maybe in 2 years I'll be able to make a living out of this. So I decided to quit my job and empty my 401ks and just, giving my 100% is to try to put as much content as possible. And that's when it really, it started taking off.
Well, you definitely give hope to people like me that are, look at a channel like yours that's, done so well. And Talking about when you first started. This is about 4 years for me, and
Mhm.
I can remember the first week or two when I had like a couple friends
Yeah,
subscribing, and I was talking into the camera for the first time, and I was like, no one is going to care
yeah.
about, no one's going
Well,
to watch this,
I
but
th- I think right now it's I think probably more difficult to get noticed because there's I mean it's become so popular. There's so many channels, but there's also a lot more information. When I started in 2007 or the travel channel in 2011, there was not a whole lot of information. We didn't know that we had to do like nice thumbnails and the descriptions and tags and what it's evolved, of course. So there's a lot more information now.
and I'd say, you're an example of somebody who's just obviously stuck with it for a long time and has grown
Mhm.
your audience, gradually. And or I guess that's a question I had. You have 10 videos I noticed that have over 1 million views.
Yes.
And did your channel grow by having certain videos that were popular and grew the channel, or has it just been pretty steady Eddie all the way along?
No, there's been hits. Let's put it that way. There was the original California road trip. They've always been that like the longer videos. Oddly enough, which is odd because when we started YouTube, 5 minutes. There was a 10-minute limit actually. At some point, that's all the longest you could make a video. Um, but yeah, those longer videos had some hits like the original California trip, a video about Paris, France. We went to Paris in 2014 and 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. That one was a hit too. And then my first cross country road trip, that's still my I don't I've lost track how many. I think it has like 5 million views at this point, and it's a 2-hour video. And yeah, that's kind of the hit that keeps carrying the channel.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw that when I was kind of trying to research the videos, and it was like 5.2 million views, and I was like,
Mhm.
man, and
Yeah,
it's obviously it's a movie. I think
yeah,
even you put it as the movie.
yeah.
You have these long videos, which that was something else I was interested in, is how do you decide to make a movie or make a video that's that long, which is, a long video on YouTube might be 30 minutes or something like
Mhm.
that. And there's a lot of them that are 10 minutes. And then I've seen other ones like you here and there that are 2 hours. Now, not all
Mhm.
your videos are that long, but how do you decide how long of a video to make?
But most of my videos are episodic, right? They follow each other along I do like a long road trip, maybe a month, 2 months on the road, and those videos are generally 30, 45. Some of them maybe an hour because like if I can get away with being able to edit 1 hour of video in a week, which as you probably know, it's quite a feat. Um, but those super long videos have mainly been compilation of shorter videos. That cross country road trip that originally aired, you got published as maybe 10 different videos or 7 different videos. I forget exactly. And then at the end, I figured this will probably look really good as a movie. It makes sense. It's so I decided to make those. And my longest is 13 hours. So, I've gotten carried away a little bit with those.
I've thought about that because I've done 4 road trips on YouTube. I did Route 66, and I did,
Mhm.
the Oregon Trail, and I did, I've done 4 of them. And I thought about, because they're all state by state, I've basically
Mhm.
done, and I thought maybe putting them together as one compilation, like you're talking about, might be interesting to do. Maybe
Mhm.
I'll do that after listening to you and the success you've had with them.
I mean, some of them work, some of them don't. But YouTube cares a lot about view time, length, view. How long a person stays with your channel or with the video, and those longer videos. If especially if you're watching on a TV, which I don't know about your audience, but most of my audience nowadays watches on a smart TV or Roku or Apple TV or whatnot. If they stay for the 2 hours to watch the video, that's a lot of watch time for YouTube, a lot of commercials that they can insert. So yeah, it works out for the algorithm.
Good idea. Yeah, who knows how that algorithm works?
Yeah, I know
Really.
exactly. Yeah, who knows? It works in mysterious ways for sure.
So whenever your videos start, there's you singing at the beginning of a video. So I was going to insert that here just so if anybody in the audience hasn't seen that, I want to play just a little snippet here of what your videos are like at the beginning to hear you sing.
I'm right riding in my RV, wherever I want to be. 'Cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah. Well, good morning.
So how did you get, have you always been a singer? Have you, how's the music part of your life and the making videos part of your life connected, and which one was
Mm.
first, and how it just seems like I'm not seeing anyone else on YouTube that's got that kind of.
Well, I'll tell you the story, and then I'll tell you the reason why I started doing it. I've been I started piano when I was 7 years old, or around there. A guitar when I was in my teens, and then when I migrated to the United States in the early '90s, I played with some of the salsa bands. It was a big deal here in Miami, so I did a lot of that nightclubs. That we started playing at midnight, got out at 3 a.m. Whatever. It was a fun time, and but it gets old, and that type of music business late night is a game for the young. Once you get a little older, I actually started a little recording studio here in my house. Um, and then for the videos, what happened, I actually, this started before YouTube. This my was some of the stuff that I did started as a video podcast, which back then was probably, I mean, nobody watched it, but back then was I didn't really know about YouTube at the time. um, and I used something called Pod Safe Music, which was safe to play on a podcast. And but once I ported those videos to YouTube, YouTube started giving me copyright violations. So I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
um, so gradually I started making my own music, because I had the studio. Sometimes I got the inspiration, like my theme song. It was right after we rented an RV before owning an RV. So we rented this RV, and that song came to me right after we returned from that second trip to the west. Utah. We went to Utah, Arizona. I mean, that was mind blown by all the natural beauty out there. And I'm in the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm riding in my RV, and I'm like, I got out of the bathroom quickly. I had the voice recorder on my phone, and I recorded it real quick before I forgot. And then, a couple of weeks later or months later, I decided to produce it, like with instruments and all that. And it became my theme song.
And you got I was on your website, and you got so many songs. I mean, how many songs have you recorded now?
Oh, right now. I don't really have a number. I probably 40 or something like that, or 50, probably 50 by now.
Yeah, and I was watching, I think the New Mexico video, and you had, traveling to the west, or I can't, something like that
Driving
on there. So it's just fun because I reuse a lot of the same music that you can, YouTube has a limited, free library, and so it's always nice to hear something original. So I think that's something that sets your channel apart. Is really awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of people pay for the music too. There are services that you can pay, and you get a little better variety of music. But then first you have to justify it. If you're making enough money on YouTube to justify paying for that. And I guess I have it easy in that sense, that I'm able to come up with tunes from time to time. And I mean, I'm over there. I have so many because it's been over the course of more than 10 years, that I've been making that music.
Yeah, it's definitely out on the road. There's a lot of time to think, and a lot of time to think about.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just driving and I think of something, and I know you're not supposed to grab your phone while you're driving, but if you don't tell anybody, I just go and record. I'm like driving to the west into the sunset, or whatever, or whatever comes to mind. Most of them are instrumentals, so that I just hum the tune, whatever I think. I just hum the tune.
You seem to have a great relationship with your viewers, and I know you do some live streams, and it seems like you have a strong Patreon membership. And has that something that is, when did you start the connection with the viewers of the live streams or the Patreon? How has that started, and how do you interact in a way to I've thought about that. How do you keep people feel like they get value for what they're investing in, I guess?
Yeah, I think, as far as the community, I think the live streams have been instrumental, and I've started doing them from the beginning. Ever since we had the capability to do it from our phone. I was still at work at the office in downtown Miami, but I would go out for lunch, And during my lunch break, I would do a quick live stream, showing people downtown Miami. I mean, this is uh, oof, 7 years ago now. And I started doing it, and then I became the tradition on Friday evening at 6 p.m. because that was that used to be my commute from
Mm.
work to home. So I would, during my commute, I would show them my commute and talk to people, and kind of tell them what I was doing and this and that. And I would park sometimes just to be able to interact. And we've created a very, I mean, and then I've met so many of these people in person, so now we've created friendships. And it's a great community to have. And some of them decide to donate or join Patreon, or the memberships on YouTube. And I mean, I feel very privileged that blessed that to have so many people that appreciate what I do. So
So, do you have, when you think back of all the places, I know, things can kind of blur together, but recording them helps remember in a way, I think.
mhm.
And when you're documenting, it's almost like going to a second time when you go back and you're editing, you're kind of reliving the trip, which is, I found to be really rewarding.
Absolutely. That's exactly the way it is. Yeah.
Do you have any trips that are just come to the top of the list of ones that you've taken that maybe were surprising, or you just kind of maybe happened on the spur of the moment? But is there a road trip that stands out that's not the traditional, like Route 66 or a national park or anything like that?
Mhm.
Is there anything that stands out that anytime you're in that area, may I'll go back to that area again because it's something that just really hit home with you?
Yeah. I mean, nothing beats when you do something for the first time, of course. And at that original cross country road trip, with my old 2004 Kia, I mean, we were roughing it out there, kind of, sort of. And I visited like places that I had seen other YouTubers before me show, like Quartzsite, Slab City. Driving cross country. Once I saw the Pacific Ocean, I'm like, I actually drove here. We've flown a couple of times. I actually drove here from Florida. That's it. And that's one of those road trips, one that stands out to me. And I didn't do so great on YouTube, but it did fine, but just wasn't like a viral hit.
Mhm.
Was my Lewis and Clark Trail trip. That was very special because I had seen Lewis and Clark, crisscrossing the country. I had seen memorials to Lewis and Clark and statues. And at the beginning, I wasn't sure exactly who Lewis and Clark were. So I actually bought a book, read the story, did the research. And I'm like, we gotta do this, follow in their footsteps. So, we started even in Washington, D.C., and followed all the historical points of interest until we got to Oregon, to the mouth of the Columbia River. And that was another special trip. I haven't done, like you have, Route 66 or the Oregon Trail. Those two are on the list. Actually, I would like to do. I've done portion, sections of Route 66, but not the whole thing. So that's kind of on the plans for next year. Um,
Well, that's what I was just ready to ask you. Do you have anything you're looking forward to coming up without spoiling? I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but
No, I mean, if you watch my Friday live streams, I'm pretty much an open book. So I have all these grand plans that usually only half of what I plan materializes. But the main one, in a couple of weeks, we're going to Europe. And I have never, I have. In 2017, we got an RV in Finland and did a little bit of RVing there. Now we're going to Spain, and we're renting a camper van, and we're gonna spend 3 weeks. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. I mean, it's not as much out of my comfort zone because I speak the language. I kind of know the customs. I actually lived there for a year and a half during my teens. But it's different. It's a little bit of out of the what you used to. So I'm gonna relearn how to use a cassette toilet, and see how it is camping out there.
yeah, get a couple days into it. I always find international trips a few days to orient yourself, and then you get, once
Yeah,
you get used to that, you're like, okay, I know where to go. I know to this. Or you go to a big city, and it's like you understand how the public transportation works. It takes a
yeah.
couple
Mhm.
days, and then you're pretty much, I can go anywhere I need to go.
And nowadays, with Google Maps knows pretty much all the public transit systems in all these countries. So you just tell them, I want to go here, and no, take the subway line 4, and then get off and take this bus. and it's like super easy. And the schedules, generally speaking, Europe has very reliable public transit. So in that sense, it's a lot easier than let's say 20 years ago, for sure.
Right. Well, final question for you. Do you have any YouTube channels that you watch that you're a fan of? I mean, I'm a fan of yours, and obviously you got a lot of fans. But is there
Mhm.
anybody that puts up a video pretty regularly that I'm going to watch that guy or girl or
Yeah, I
couple?
watch. I have too many subscriptions actually. Sometimes I just follow the algorithm these days, just so they kind of know what I like. Although lately I've been researching like video cameras, and now every single video that they suggest is about video cameras, so that doesn't work so well. But yeah, I'm going to your question. I follow like the first people that I started following back in, before when all this was a dream. We're going back to some that made it really big, like Nomadic Fanatic, some that didn't, like Living Free. He's still there, but he never made the big leap plus 100,000 subs. um and some people from back then, like Adventure of a Man, Wanderlust Estate, who is no longer doing it. And then every once in a while I discover someone new, like Jimmy and Natalie, or Endless Adventure. Of course, we'll probably watch KYD and Les Youngborn Journey, and I still watch the Wins, even though they used to be RVers. Now they're on a sailboat for many years, but I still watch them from time to time. And then I watch tech videos as well, and like Marquez Brownlee and things like that. So I watch all kinds of different things. But out of the YouTubers, there's this couple that does international travel, jumping places. We like watching them too, as and I'm sure I'm forgetting many of them, but yeah.
The last couple of shows I've done, I've listed about 20 different channels, huge channels, then moderate channels, and then
Mhm.
I'm trying to research some really small channels to for people that might not realize. So I'm going to go through some of the ones you named and that I'm not familiar with, and then it's YouTube is a fascinating place, and it's interesting to see where it's going to go in the future. And I'm sure you'll be out there, exploring and being creative. And like I said, just the positive vibe of your channel is always, it's always going to put me in a good mood. I know in the evening,
Yeah.
there's so many things, even on YouTube, you can get sucked down a rabbit hole of negativity,
Oh
social
yeah.
media. And then it's always nice to know I can click on one of your videos and it's going to make me smile.
Yeah, I try to ignore the few negative comments that I get, and I just even when I'm down, because I get down some from time to time. I'm like, I snap out of it. I realize, I get to do this for a living, so it's I consider myself very lucky, very fortunate to be able to share it with all of you, and that's the even more rewarding than that. Sometimes I get emails from people that, I had this illness, or I had someone who passed away, and your videos helped me through it, and to me that's even better than the joy of being able to do it. So to know that I'm helping people out in a way.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm sure you get, I get these comments. I'm sure you get more than I do of people that are maybe they're older or they either can't
mhm.
travel anymore or they don't have the means to,
Yes.
and they're like, this is living a dream for them almost to be able to go to these places that never thought they would be able to see. So
Mhm.
that's awesome. Well, thanks so much. There's a lot of ways to follow Robert. He's on Facebook. Everything is Traveling Robert.
Yeah,
So there's
very easy.
Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. He has his website, travelingrobert.com, and Patreon, Traveling Robert as well. Thank you very much. And if this becomes a regular thing, maybe in the future we'll have you back and we'll keep updating on the travels of Traveling Robert. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.